Ever wonder what happens when a family fortune becomes a family feud? Today, we're diving into a real-life story that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. It's about the Chang family, a name that once stood for unity and success, but is now synonymous with a bitter court battle over a massive inheritance. This isn't just about money. It's about promises, secrets, and the ties that bind or break a family. The patriarch, Mr. Chang, was a self-made man. He built a business empire from scratch and was known for his sharp mind and traditional values. He had 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter. For years, the family presented a united front, working together in the family business. It seemed like a perfect picture of familial harmony and prosperity. But behind the scenes, tensions were simmering. Mr. Chang passed away suddenly, and that's when the cracks started to show. He left behind a will, but its contents were a shock to everyone. Instead of dividing his vast estate, worth billions, equally among his 4 children, he left everything to his youngest son, Peter. The will stated that Peter was the most capable of carrying on the family legacy and that the other siblings had already been well provided for during his lifetime. You can imagine the bombshell this dropped. The 3 older siblings, let's call them David, Mark, and Suri, were floored. They felt betrayed and disinherited. They had dedicated their lives to the family business, working alongside their father and brother. They believed they were equal partners, not just employees. Their argument was that their father in his final years was not of sound mind when he signed the will. They claimed Peter had unduly influenced him, manipulating an ailing old man to secure the entire fortune for himself. So, they did what many families in this situation do. They went to court. The legal battle began, and it was messy. The courtroom became a stage for airing all the family's dirty laundry. David, the eldest, testified that their father had always promised to treat all his children equally. He presented old family letters and emails where Mr. Chang spoke of his love for all his children and his desire for them to share in the company's success. Mark, the middle son, focused on their father's health. He brought in medical experts who testified that Mr. Chang had been showing signs of cognitive decline in his last 2 years. They argued that he was vulnerable and easily suggestible. They painted a picture of Peter as a calculating son who isolated their father from the rest of the family, controlled his access to information, and slowly poisoned his mind against his other children. Sarah, the only daughter, gave the most emotional testimony. She spoke of a changed father, a man who once doted on all his children, but became distant and suspicious in his final days. She broke down on the stand as she recalled conversations where her father seemed confused and paranoid, often repeating things Peter had told him. She believed her youngest brother had taken advantage of their father's weakness. On the other side, Peter's defense was just as compelling. His lawyers argued that Mr. Chang was a brilliant businessman until the very end. They presented witnesses, longtime business partners and friends, who testified that Mr. Chang was as sharp as ever, fully in control of his decisions. They claimed the will was not a spur-of-a-moment decision, but the result of years of careful observation. Peter himself took the stand and portrayed his siblings as greedy and ungrateful. He claimed they were more interested in the money than in their father's actual wishes. He argued that he was the only one who truly understood his father's vision for the company's future. He produced a video recording made just weeks before his father's death where Mr. Chang clearly stated his intentions. In the video, a frail but lucid Mr. Chang explained that he believed Peter was the only one with the ambition and skill to grow the empire, and while his other children were content to simply live off its profits. This video was a major turning point. It showed Mr. Chang speaking clearly and rationally. He addressed each of his older children, expressing his love, but also his disappointment in what he saw as their lack of drive. He said he was leaving them out of the will, not out of spite, because he believed it was what was best for the legacy he had spent his life building. He wanted a single, strong leader, not a committee of siblings who might fight and fracture the company. The court was faced with a difficult decision. On one hand, you had 3 siblings convinced they were robbed of their birthright by a manipulative brother. On the other, you had a son with what appeared to be clear evidence of his father's final wishes. The case dragged on for years, costing millions in legal fees, and more importantly, destroying any remaining shred of family connection. The public was fascinated, following every twist and turn in the news. It raised so many questions. When does protecting a legacy cross the line into disowning your own children? How do you prove what an elderly parent truly wanted? And can a family ever recover from a public battle like this? In the end, the court sided with Peter. The judge ruled that while Mr. Chang was elderly and frail, the evidence, particularly the video, showed that he was legally competent and understood the consequences of his actions when he made the will. The claim of undue influence was dismissed. 3 older siblings lost their case and were left with nothing from their father's main estate. The verdict was a legal victory for Peter, but it was a profound loss for the Chang family. The siblings reportedly haven't spoken since the final judgment. The empire that Mr. Chang built to secure his family's future had become the very thing that tore it apart. David, Mark, and Sarah have since started their own, much smaller business ventures, completely separate from the family name. Peter is now the sole chairman of the vast Chang Corporation, but he sits on that throne alone. This story serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It highlights the importance of clear communication within families, especially when it comes to inheritance. Estate planning isn't just about legal documents. It's about managing emotions, expectations, and relationships. Mr. Chang may have thought he was protecting his business, but in doing so, he sacrificed his family. Was it worth it? That's a question only he could answer. What do you think? Was the father right to prioritize his business legacy? Or should family always come first, no matter what? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to like this video. And subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into compelling real-life dramas. See you next time.